piel. Soy el agua que mata tu sed. El castigo. Yep. We're going to talk about gas, energy, internet, meters, the meta mafia. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Cleo with you.
Morning.
Cat burglar.
A little bit like that today.
How are ya?
I'm good. Oh, I'm good. I'm feeling a bit sinusy at the moment. There's something going around, but still fine.
Just blame the COVID jab.
I know. My husband this morning was trying to tell me that it's all because of the heater. And I said, you'd do anything to save money. It's not the heater. It's cold.
You know what? The gas heater at home can't be, it's, gassing yourself and heating yourself. You'd think it sounds a bit weird, but I love gas at home. It's so bloody quick.
It is. It warms the room so quick. Like it goes from 19 degrees to 22 in literally like 10 minutes.
It's the best.
That's what you want. But yeah, if you look at the filter at the back, it's very dusty.
I think the secret's to leave the window open a little bit because I always fall asleep with it on.
Yeah.
The gas heater goes on at night. But today, this is a show we're doing a little bit out of helplessness, hopelessness. You've been a bit smashed this week when it comes to these meters that are being installed in these properties, and nobody really talks about it. So, and when you're a tenant moving into a property, you don't really ask the question. When you're an owner buying in a building, you don't really ask the question. But how buildings are being metered or houses are being metered, suppliers, contracts, it's becoming a big thing. Never used to be, but it is now.
There's a lot of control around it, and it can be, I can imagine, very frustrating for a tenant to connect gas or electricity in some of these unit blocks, and you don't realize that at the start. The lease agreement says that the landlord's not responsible for utilities, as in connections and things like that. Like it's all up to the tenant. But then the tenants don't usually, they don't think that we don't have all the answers, like that we have keys, like MBF keys to all the meter rooms, that we know the ins and outs, and the people that come that read the meter so they can connect you, they say, oh, we'll be there between 9 and 5 or whatever, and you're at work, you're going to be home all day. Like it's so annoying.
Yeah, but everyone works, but not when the meter's got to be installed or something. So it's quite interesting that we've always just assumed the old-fashioned methods is what's adopted with all buildings. But just to fast forward to give you a massive example for people that are watching, the developers now, well, to give an example, we had a building in DY. The developer had to install intercoms, security, CCTV. He had to install gas meters and electrical meters. Quite a big cost for a developer. Common sense that you've got to install that stuff because you're going to sell the units. They need essential services. Now, the developer in that case, this is probably the worst case example, so don't, not to freak people out, but it's happening more and more. The developer in this case got a big fat check. And what that was for is at one energy provider said, you give me your 80 or 150 units that you're building, I will install the meters for free. I will install the internet. I will install everything for free. You don't have to pay a cent. We know you don't have to put in the meters and pay for it. We will pay for it, but we want to be able to charge the tenants what we want, and we don't want the tenants or buyers to go anywhere else. So we need you to sign, Mr. Developer, the building over for 3 years or 5 years exclusively to us. The people cannot go anywhere else for their internet, cannot go anywhere else for their power, cannot go anywhere else for their gas. Why? Because we're spending big bucks on putting in all these meters. But the good news is we're going to buy our energy bulk. We're going to buy it bulk. We're going to buy it for less than what the occupants can buy it for individually, and then we're going to resell them and it'll still be cheap. Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, that sounds like a great deal for the developer. But I remember having a tenant that moved into a unit block with embedded network, and he was in IT, and he thought he was so clever and could get around it and have his own internet provider. And he went through all these efforts and ended up breaking the lease and moving out. So, I can see the value for some people, but I think they've got better, the embedded networks. They've got better in the providers that they've chosen. I do know we recently purchased a property. It's got an embedded network, but it's great. But yeah, like the old meters that are in the old unit blocks, pre-1970 sort of builds, they have these old gas meters. And recently we've started renovating in a kitchen. So you rip all the plumbing out, you want to move the gas meter if you want to reconfigure the kitchen, and then the plumber he goes to put the tapware back in, leaves, it's all nice and connected, and then boom, it starts to flood. This is a real scenario. A brand new kitchen, new floor, new cupboards, there's water pouring out. So you can imagine, plumber goes back out there, goes, yeah, it's nothing I've done. It's the hot water union to the gas meter. You need to replace the meter, and we can't do that. Okay, fair enough. Who does that? That's Gemna, and you got to call them, and then they come out. Well, it's been 5 days and no hot water.
This is an essential service. Hot water.
An essential service. Not just that, you use it for washing up if you don't have a dishwasher. Like there's so many things, like not just showering, but yeah.
I have a shower every day.
Exactly. Who doesn't? Sometimes 2 times a day, morning and night. Like, come on. Anyway, and I've been in a standoff with them. It's like calling a call center and getting 8 different people. Oh, yes, I can see you made a call. Let me put that through for you now. And then I'm like, I create work orders every day with tradespeople. How many work orders do you need to create? Like, where is this loop going? It's just going round and round and round and round and round and round. And then I get messages from a side company called Zinfra, who are the contractors for Gemna. So they then send text messages, not ones that you can't reply to, saying, oh, can you send me a video of the meter leaking? I'm like, no, I cannot. I've had a plumber who I've paid to come and diagnose the issue. I'm not leaving my job to then go and video a meter that's not going to leak because the water's turned off. And then, so in order to escalate the call, so you do know there's 2 fractions of this company. So there's the gas people and then there's the water people. Still 1 meter, but if there's the issue with the gas, they're different contractors. And if there's the issue with the water component of the gas meter, then it's other contractors. They sent the wrong contractor yesterday. It was a lady who was there for the gas, thinking we had a gas leak. I said, I never said we had a gas leak. I used the word hot water union, which is not in my everyday terminology, so I must have had a plumber go out. Anyway, they're meant to have been there at 7 o'clock this morning. They still haven't arrived. I was going to rip it out.
Because it's an old system, I thought that, like Sydney Water would just turn up and put in a new meter.
Gemna are meant to do that. If you call them and go on hold and they say, if you've received a text message from us saying that we're here to replace your meter. No need to call back. Apparently they do it every 10 years. Well, I know for a fact the meter in this unit is over 30 years old. There's been no attempts to change the meter. And how many gas meters are there in rental properties? How could they possibly keep up with changing them every 10 years? It's only when something goes wrong. And then if you're in a strata complex as well, where they're controlled by, the body corporate, that's even more of a nightmare. It's one of
Is
those.
your one strata? Your one
No,
been done now?
internally in the kitchen, but the issue with that,
But it is
as
strata.
well. Yeah, and what about accessibility to the meter? Like, so you've reconfigured this whole kitchen, moved the meter in the corner, not thinking that you're going to need to replace it. It's like these hot water systems that,
Oh,
owners used to put in and tuck away in
yes.
corners, and then you can't get to them when something goes down.
Yes. So, if you're not prepared for stuff like this, guys and girls, hopefully this show has helped, because the whole meter thing, very serious, very costly. If I was a tenant, there was no way in the world I would think I wouldn't be able to connect my own internet to the new building that I'm moving into. But now with these embedded networks, think twice, ask before you're about to buy something, ask before you're about to rent something, particularly in a strata, what sort of metering is there. Because if it's an embedded network, some of them are good, some of them are bad. I remember the embedded network we had in DY in one of our strata. So we had 40 sets of tenants move in, the building had about 100. We sold the building, we sold to a lot of landlords, we had 40 properties for rent. They all moved in. And the embedded provider said, you need a connection to your unit from the main downstairs. And everyone went, how
Who
much?
pays for that?
And then the embedded network was like, the tenant pays. And how much was it?
Was $300.
And the
And
tenants were
then the
like,
owner had to reimburse them back.
there's no chance we're going to pay $300 to get this in, to get this connected. It should already be there. Why isn't it there? And it was just a really nice little jag for the embedded network. I thought, like, of course you should have it connected to every bloody unit. It's
Yeah,
power.
that was
It's
fun.
internet. It's like, it's weird.
It
Anyway,
is. It is.
what you
It's
pay
like you
for it.
said, it's a mafia no one talks about, but it's happening.
You know what? Best way around it is just awareness, and I think that it's pretty hard for you to Google a property manager. Like, just to say, "Hey, is this happening in DY or Northern Beaches or in Sydney?" It's hard to find this information. Watch out for embedded networks. There's good and there's bad. Watch out for these meter changes and where you're putting your meter and getting an information. It reminds me of my Telstra internet when I had to get that connected once upon a time. You just go on this merry-go-round.
It's honestly a merry-go-round, and it's like you said, having all the information is key. Being prepared, getting set up before you move in, things like that. Asking your property manager, your landlords, and when you're purchasing a property, do all your due diligence as well, because you don't want to have a tenant then move in and then realize things not metered the way you think it's metered and things like that. Then it becomes a nightmare.
Claire Witt here. Thank you very much.
See you. Have a
See
great day.
everyone. Take care.